The moment Todd Tucker demanded DNA tests for the children he raised, the courtroom gasped. But that wasn't even the worst part. What Kandi pulled from her phone 30 minutes later didn't just destroy his case. It destroyed the entire image he'd spent a decade building. 15 seconds, his own voice. And suddenly, everything Mama Joyce warned about years ago made perfect sense. This is the recording Bravo never aired, and once you hear what it revealed, you'll never look at their marriage the same way again. For months, the world thought Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker were handling their separation with
Wow, child. Who knew that Mama Joyce was right about little Todd Tucker with the big head being player this whole time? Ever since their divorce became public, Kandi has been running interference talking about how there was going to be none of that chaos and drama people expected with celebrity divorces. She talked about how she and Todd were too friendly for all of the BS. But girl, Kandi has been singing a whole other tune after Todd apparently told the court that he wanted their prenup to be thrown out, claiming that he was forced and put under a whole lot of pressure to sign something that he never wanted to sign.
Predictions. Because when Todd Tucker filed his response, he didn't just ask for custody or support, he challenged the very foundation of their marriage agreement, and that's when Kandi pulled out a weapon he never saw coming. A recording, hidden, locked away for years, 15 seconds that would dismantle everything. But before we get to that moment, the moment that changed everything, you need to understand how deep this fracture really went. Because this story doesn't begin with a filing. It begins years earlier in the quiet spaces between camera cuts, in the tensions that built slowly and visibly until they became too heavy to ignore. November 21st, 2025. The filing hit the clerk's desk with no fanfare, no press conference, no tearful Instagram post. Just paperwork. Clean, final, quiet. But that quietness wasn't peace. It was
And that still isn't the half of it, because it's really looking like Todd thought this whole thing from day one was just in case a divorce ever happened. Now he's claiming that he has always been the primary caretaker of their kids with receipts to back it. And he asked for not only alimony but major child support along with full custody of the kids. And Kandi is currently going through it, y'all, and clapping back at Todd. I could tell this divorce is only going to get even more messy. Child, I hope Kandi's prenup is as airtight and ironclad as Mama Joyce wanted it to be, because Todd really wants everything. For a long time, Kandi was all about her man, her family, and her businesses, praising Todd as the best man she could have ever married, both personally and professionally. And Todd was getting a pretty good deal out of it too. I mean, the two of them started businesses together, and even had an open marriage with Kandi, even defending bringing a third person into their bedroom, claiming that it only strengthened their marriage.
To the prenuptial agreement, it landed like a bomb, not because these demands were unusual in high-profile divorces, but because of how quickly they came. As if they weren't reactions to Kandi's filing, as if they were blueprints, plans that had been sitting in a drawer, waiting for the right moment to be activated. And that moment was the second Kandi filed first. Todd claimed he'd been pressured into signing the prenup one day before the wedding. No lawyer present, no time to think.
But according to new reports, Todd resented Kandi for being more successful than he is, and also being the breadwinner. He always was coming up with fantastical hypothetical situations about what he was going to get or how Kandi was going to act with her money if they ever ended up getting a divorce.
One of a calculated plan. And while Todd spoke, the judge's eyes kept drifting back to Kandi, not because she interrupted, not because she reacted dramatically, but because she didn't react at all. No shaking head, no tears, no gasps, just stillness. The kind of stillness that comes from someone who didn't file.
Mind you, it isn't just one or two clips scattered across social media for someone to find. It is hours and hours of content that Todd himself posted on his YouTube channel without the shadow and anger of Mama Joyce weighing down on him. This is his personality and thoughts that he shared willingly, and it was always about how he deserves stuff from her for just being there.
Without protection. A man who signed something he didn't fully understand because he was told it was necessary. And that's when things started to unravel. Because as the hearings continued, the courtroom became a vault cracking open. Secrets that had been buried under years of family dinners, vacation photos, red carpet smiles, and carefully edited reality TV moments came spilling out, not in whispers, in transcripts, in testimony, in arguments that—
With the videos going around, some were still saying that maybe Todd did all of this for views and attention because it's stuff like this that goes viral. There's no way that Kandi was ever going to play about her money, and she was just going to go along with Todd just to make some money off of people talking about them. But everything Todd was saying was just to set up what he had planned to do when the time came for him and Kandi to divorce. In the filing, Kandi said that she wanted the two of them to share joint custody of their two children, Ace and Blay. Now, I want y'all to keep in mind that the prenup doesn't say that Todd gets nothing. It only says that they can't split what she earned before him, and he has to be up and out of the house in 30 days. But as successful as Kandi is on her own, we kind of know that the businesses they did together, and I'm talking about Old Lady Gang here, weren't that successful. Even in her filing, Kandi claimed that they had marital debts and wanted the courts to split it between the two of them. Now, on Wednesday, November 26, 2025, before Thanksgiving, Todd finally responded to the divorce petition. In response, he asked for full custody, stating that the children are currently with him because Kandi has to go out of state often for work obligations. He went on to say that she was a good mother, and if she doesn't agree giving him full custody, then he's okay with having full primary custody and joint legal custody since they are going to be with him most of the time now that Kandi is out on Broadway. That part actually seems pretty standard since Kandi works a lot more anyway. But that wasn't the part that got Kandi gagged about the man she married. We all watched their wedding special and how Todd really thought he was going to walk down the aisle without signing anything. And just when he thought he had gotten away with it, Kandi's lawyer showed up with the prenup in hand. Kandi made it clear that if he didn't sign, then the wedding was not going to happen. And Todd eventually went through with it.
He couldn't escape. The tension escalated when Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker became part of the proceedings. Two daughters, one courtroom, years of blended family wounds laid bare for strangers to witness. Riley spoke quietly, without theatrics. She said Todd never treated her like a daughter, that he always compared her to Kayla, that she felt like an outsider in a home that was supposed to feel safe. Kayla fired back emotionally, claiming—
Now he's bringing it back up again and arguing that he wasn't fully on board with the prenup when it happened because he had to sign it only 4 hours leading up to the wedding. And he was under a lot of pressure to get it done without his lawyer there, and it could not be enforced against him.
Judge eventually cut them off, but not before absorbing the truth behind their voices. This wasn't a unified home breaking apart. It was a fractured one finally admitting its cracks. And then, as if the atmosphere wasn't already suffocating, Todd made the most devastating request of all: DNA tests for Ace and Blaze. The gasp in the courtroom wasn't theatrical, it was instinctive. Even the judge's expression tightened. Kandi inhaled sharply, like the words had physically struck her. Her lawyer slammed a file shut, in disbelief. Todd didn't look at her. Didn't look at the judge. He stared straight ahead as if refusing to face the emotional wreckage of what he'd just said. It was the lowest blow of the entire case. And it changed everything. Because the moment Todd questioned the paternity of the children he'd raised, children who called him father, who trusted him, who loved him, sympathy evaporated. Neutrality dissolved. This wasn't legal.
Todd is claiming that if he and his lawyers had more time, they would have negotiated the prenup because he believed that he had a lot more rights to royalties from her music and production. But Kandi is not letting up at all since all that prenup drama went down on the Real Housewives of Atlanta wedding spinoff. Now Kandi is basically telling the judge, roll the footage. She actually wants them to take a look at the tapes from the show. Kandi's lawyer also referenced a specific moment from the show's spinoff where Todd announced on the show that he was good to sign the prenup after talking to his lawyers on and off cameras. This is literally nothing to fight about. The fact that he wants to argue about it now and use the kids to get more out of her just proves that whatever happened behind the scenes must have been super messy. And that, you know what, maybe Mama Joyce was right. Not Todd Tucker with the reverse Uno talking about he wants full custody and the prenup undone. He had that pre-planned when he got sloppy with the cheating after them two kids. She defended him from her mother, Aunt Portia, Fedra, the whole group and the world. And this is how he wants to end things. Todd Tucker, when I catch you. I've always thought Todd Tucker was an opportunist. Mama Joyce was vowed towards him, but she wasn't wrong in her findings. But what do y'all think about this? Do you really think that Todd set up a scheme, or are people just doing too much? Sound off in the comments and make sure you hit that like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. by baddies.